As America questions letting Syrian refugees, our neighbor to the north is rolling out the welcome mat. Canada's new prime minister vowing to take in 10,000 of them by the end of this year and another 15,000 by the end of February. So, as we worry about our porous southern border, do we now have to worry about our northern border too? Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Bolling. Welcome to Cashin. Our Cashin crew this week: Jonathan Honig, Michelle Fields, Juan Williams, and Jessica Tarlov. Wayne will join us in a bit. Welcome, everybody. Well, thanks a lot, Canada. Some Americans are now concerned that refugees and possibly terrorists will sneak across the northern border. Now, Michelle, is this a legit concern?
Absolutely. They say that we shouldn't be concerned because they're not going to let young men in. It's just going to be women, children, families. But I don't know where they get this idea that only young men join ISIS. ISIS has been very successful in luring young women to come over to ISIS and be potential brides. And if you look at the people who have come, who are here in America and have tried to join ISIS, many of them are, especially in Minnesota, refugees or children of refugees.
So what about Juan? Now we have to worry about the northern border, too. I mean, after all, that's pretty darn porous, too.
You know, you and Michelle, I think you guys are not only fearmongers, I think you guys are like Chicken Little. You're just running around. Oh, my God. Look, no, those Canadians, the sky is falling, the Canadians are falling. Look, Germany's taken, I think, 900,000 or something, 90,000. What about France? France actually had a recent attack.
Oh, and that worked out very well,
So
Juan.
what you see, no, you know, again, you interrupt and say something that really none of the people that attacked were refugees.
All right, so
one of them pretended to be a refugee, yes. He had a fake passport and went through Greece and pretended to be a refugee.
Did you say fake? Oh, I heard the word fake. So in other words, why are you demonizing all refugees, people who are suffering, who have been killed by these terrorists, and who seek refuge with America?
I'm saying that it's a threat.
Society.
He pretended to be a refugee. He went to Paris and he committed an awful terrorist attack. So yes, there are refugees who may be dangerous.
And also there are reports, I'll do this very carefully, there are reports that there are a lot of instances of crime within these refugee camps and also in the general population within Germany.
Yeah, we've never heard about crime in America. So get all those criminal Americans out.
Yeah, what about, John, what about Canadians taking in 25,000 refugees? Good idea or bad idea? You don't care?
Well, Eric, we are in a state of war, and until that is resolved, I mean, everything's a threat. Think about it. Before these Islamist attacks started, I mean, we could welcome everyone, Canadians, South Americans, Africans, even people from the Middle East. But now, everyone, whether it's refugees, people on visas, work permits, vacationers, and as Michelle pointed out, even Americans, essentially even native-born Americans, anything, everyone, everything is a threat until militant Islam is gone.
Okay, Jess, weigh in on this. We're going to talk about the visas in just a second, but go ahead, weigh in on Canadians. And by the way, how many refugees are you taking in, Jessica?
I'm happy to take as many refugees as can fit in my studio apartment. But what I'd like to get back to, or start with, is actually the facts about this and about how secure the border is. In a pre-9/11 world, the Canadian border totally open. You showed a driver's license overnight. It was completely unmanned. But today, it's been Mexicanized, is what they call it. They have 8 stations across the border. In Michigan, they built a $30 million war room for security there. We have drones. We have helicopters, low-flying helicopters over it. I'm not saying that there's no way to get across. I don't want to have that fight again like I did last weekend about the southern border. But you're not talking about somewhere that isn't secure at all. This is not just that they're all going to be walking across. And, I mean, it is fear-mongering. Juan is completely correct about that.
All right, let's talk a little bit about that visa program that Jonathan brought up. Now, there is a huge problem. I'm going to go back to you, Jonathan. Talk about that program of not being able to vet or not properly vetting people for the visas when they come here. And then, frankly, also 20 million people a year or so, we don't follow them. They jump their visas. They jump the expiration of the visas. Go ahead, John.
That's the whole point, Eric. I mean, it's the ideas that need to be destroyed. So everyone is a potential threat. People coming here on visas, vacationers, even native-born Americans. And the point is, Jessica says, well, we can monitor them and we can keep an eye on them. But, every year we become less free. I mean, now it's like you got to come 2 hours early at the airport, not just one like you had after 9/11 and the NSA screening and we become less free with every moment that we don't actually actually
extra hour at
defeat
the airport
enemy.
is a small price to pay when you talk about the global challenges that we're facing.
Why not actually address the enemy, defeat the enemy? Then we don't have to worry about the borders.
You think that you're not going to have a guy show up in the airport with a
security?
bomb in his shoe just because you've defeated militant Islam abroad there? I mean, we have this issue at home. We know that.
Let me just say, we aren't worried about. Well, we aren't worried about, Nazi immigrants coming in and spreading their ideology. We aren't worried about, Shintoism coming in from Japan and spreading their ideology because they've been discredited.
Barring we wipe out Islamic radical jihad in the next couple of years, Juan, isn't it time maybe to step up how we vet the visa program people and how we follow them afterwards?
Eric, I never thought that I would hear the same comment from President Obama as I hear from Eric Bolling. But this is what President Obama is pushing right now on Capitol Hill. Let's do a better job with the visa program, especially where we give the visa waivers to, I think it's 39 countries. People can just come in.
Right.
We want to do a better job. But I am so struck that Jonathan, Michelle, the conservatives, who have all been about border security, for the first time are realizing there's a problem with the visa program, that most of the illegal immigrants in this country overstay visas. Thank you for coming to the truth.
I agree, but it's not just the visa program, it's also the border. But in terms of the visa program, Boston bombers, that's how they came here, on the visa program.
I'm glad to see you're coming around, kid. Go.
But one doesn't exclude the other. We can also be strong on the border and also
still care about the border.
But don't be foolish. Don't say, oh yeah, it's all about those Mexicans, which is, Trump-like. No, come to the truth that there are people coming from Europe who come and overstay their stay here and don't even report.
Juan, I think Juan has had a little too much coffee. He's really amped this morning.
Oh, yeah. No. Just the love of you. But I must say to Jonathan, you forget that we were turning away people because we said, oh, they're communists. These people are going to damage our country.
First of all,
Jonathan, that's wrong. It's not American.
Well, Juan, if they were part of the Communist Party, we certainly turned them away. Absolutely.
No, we're turning away Jews, Jonathan. Jews on the St. Louis back in 1939.
Well, Jews weren't. Well, they weren't part of an organized conspiracy to build a caliphate and destroy America.
And neither are these refugees.
Let me just make one point. Juan, I'm trying to agree with you for the moment. Just turn it down a notch.
Let it happen. Let it wash over you.
Homeland security is not going to make us safe. Building a wall won't make us safe. Tighter borders won't make us safe. The only thing that makes you safe is destroying the enemy. End of story.
All right, Jessica, you were saying what now?
I'm excited by all this agreement today, and I'd like to throw my hat in the agreeable pool and say, yes, we can tighten restrictions. President Obama talked about how he's going to get airlines to share more passenger information. Dianne Feinstein has said that we can...
More NSA,
Jonathan,
more spying.
No,
I don't think that's
spying.
it. I think
it's spying if they just give you the information.
I think we need to suspend people from coming from countries where there are significant jihadist movements. If you look at the Senate Democrats bill, they won't allow anyone into the country who's been to Iraq or Syria in the last 5 years. Also, maybe we could get people on the terror watch list, not able to buy firearms. If you guys were as concerned about background checks. Gun safety, there I said it. That's how people die in America, by guns.
I think we've just gone down every single rabbit hole in Midtown, in Chicago, L.A., and D.C. I got to leave it right there. It was just a year ago this week. I wanted to create a place for conservatives to debate the issues affecting America. I looked for the right vehicle and stumbled upon a dormant Twitter hashtag that seemed to sum up my sentiment perfectly. Wake Up America was sitting right there unused. I brought it to you, and you ran with it. Fast forward a year, Wake Up America has become one of the most used hashtags for political discourse, averaging tens of thousands of mentions per day, and that is simply amazing. And America, keep it up. Coming up, coalition forces striking ISIS where it hurts in the old oil. All of us on Cashin called for this a long time ago, but why did it take them so dang long?